the first thing that I will say about these two collectively is that you could not have hand selected two better leaders for our team this year. And they just so happen to also be our seniors, which is something that you desire as a coach, to know that your senior class is going to lead your team well. And like I said, you could not have hand selected two better girls to lead our team this year. And just like I said, that this team laid the foundation, got us back on track and laid the foundation for all that's to come. I looked at both of these girls after our last match of the season and said, any success that this program has moving forward, do not doubt for a second that you were a part of this, and that you helped get us here. And so I cannot thank them enough for how they led this team. The first senior we're going to start with is Lindsay Ingenito. And I'll also give you your special senior plaque. There you go. Lindsay was second team all-conference this year. A huge award for her, and just so grateful to see her be recognized for the player that she is in our conference. I think anybody who attended a match would know that one of Lindsay's strong suits as a player is her slide. That slide attack, I've never coached a player who is as consistent on a slide as she is. And I even remember asking her one day, because that's been consistent all 4 years she's been here. I remember asking her one day, how'd you get so good at that? Because like I said, the consistency that I see in her on this slide is just not something that you see every day. And so I loved watching that take place. And I loved watching teams try their best to defend that and shut that down and struggle with that. It was such a huge offensive weapon for us to have her on the slide. And if there was a moment where we needed a point, I had confidence that running a slide with Lindsay would get that done for us. She also is an incredibly talented ball control player, especially, I shouldn't even say especially for being middle. She's just a good ball control player. And you rarely see that kind of ball control in a middle, because they don't typically have to pass and set and dig. But gosh, whenever Lindsay had to do that for any given reason, I think a lot of coaches, if the middle starts going up and pulling up their hands like they're about to set the second ball, you hold your breath and you get a little nervous. And I didn't with Lindsay. I knew she would be just fine taking care of that ball for us. And so I love seeing that be a part of her game. She is such a teacher of the game as well. Lindsay has a high volleyball IQ that she does not just reserve for herself. She chooses to communicate that to her teammates day in and day out. So during a match, during practices, she's consistently giving feedback and helping other athletes and being an extension of the coaching staff. And she just did a fantastic job with that, of not only making herself better, but making her teammates better every time that she stepped out on the floor. And in light of that, the word that I chose for Lindsay is purposeful. Lindsay does things on purpose. She is deliberate in what she does. She is never out there on the court just swinging to swing, or just setting to set, or just serving to serve. She has a purpose with what she's trying to do with the ball. And it's because she sees that floor so well, and she knows what it takes to score in that moment. And she talks a lot about doing her job. And I can't think of another player that does her job better than Lindsay does, and just embraces that. I know what I'm supposed to do, and I'm going to do that purposefully. With every rep that I have, with every opportunity to communicate and teach when I'm talking to my teammates. But I've also watched her do that off the court as well. And that's what's been so neat, is with each of these words that we've talked about tonight for these girls, this isn't just on the court. This is also off the court as well, that I see these girls embrace these attributes. And I've watched Lindsay be purposeful in her relationships. I've watched her be purposeful in her schoolwork and becoming a nurse. I've watched her be purposeful with how she loves others and advocates for others. And it is just such a gift to have her on this team, to have had the opportunity to be a part of all 4 years of her time in HU volleyball. And I'm just so grateful for the way that she's inspired each of us. My favorite memory of Lindsay is that, and there could be a lot, this one actually isn't embarrassing or anything. There could be a lot of memories I share with this being her senior year, but one thing that really stood out to me with this season specifically was that 2 of Lindsay's best matches were against the 2 top teams in our conference. See, that's not embarrassing. We had a match against Marion and a match against Iowa where I thought Lindsay played 2 of her best matches all season. And I remember telling her that that is one of my favorite things about her as a player, is that mentality that she has, that it does not matter who is on the other side of the net, it does not matter what name is across their chest. They are also the same age as me playing volleyball. And so all she sees is an opportunity to compete, to be mentally tough, to do her job, to help her team be successful, to lead them. And I love that about Lindsay. And I think that if each of us, could walk away with just a little bit of that in us because we've had the opportunity to be a part of a program with Lindsay, I think we're going to be better because of it. And so, like I said, just cannot say enough about how honored I have been not only to coach her, but to get to do life with her. And I'm so grateful that relationships don't have to end, even though your name being on the roster comes to an end. I'm so thankful that relationships don't. So please join me in thanking Lindsay for everything that she's done for this program. Next we have Hannah Mayer, our second senior. Get you your special senior plaque.